Welcome to the TeamRedEye Shit Show, the best show on the internet, #1 on trending 3 years in a row. I am your host, Killer Keemstar, and this is my associate, Rabid Waffles.
Oh, sure, don't give me a funny name.
Well, I couldn't think of anything. Should I have said, like, Boogie2988 or some shit? Like, use some other big YouTuber? Wouldn't it be funny if Boogie2988 did a collaboration with Keemstar? They have, like, so little in common, I could never see it happening. It'd just be so funny because of how different they are.
I'm pretty sure they'd be arguing the whole time.
But yeah, this is, today we're gonna talk about Breaking Bad. I'll start off. Ooh, what the hell? That clipped a little bit there. Like, the audio clipped a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're talking about Breaking Bad today. And, I'm gonna go ahead and start us off. One thing I'd like to mention is, by the way, there will be spoilers in this video. This video does contain spoilers and vitamin C.
Before you watch this, waste 60 hours of your life watching Breaking Bad.
It will not be wasted. It will be well spent. Spared no expense. But anyway, so the thing I wanted to talk about with Breaking Bad is I think that Walter's evolution as a character is probably one of the most natural evolutions from, like, a good, loving guy into one of the more fucked up characters I've seen.
Like, halfway through the series, like, I didn't even really notice that he was evolving, and then after a while I was like, oh, because they do it so slowly, it actually feels like character development. With most shows, when they try to develop a character, they do it too fast, and it seems like you don't think someone would change that quick.
Well, like, Walter White feels like a real person. Like, it feels like his progression makes sense naturally.
Yeah. And
I never turn against Walter. I'm always rooting for him, even when he does these horrible things towards the end of the series.
Oh, I'm not always rooting for Walter.
I was. I mean, granted, there was a few things that I really hated, but overall, I never hated him as a character. I always thought he did I always liked him. You know what I mean?
My favorite part of the entire series is when he gives the "I am the one who knocks" speech.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was... Because he scares the crap out of his wife for literally no reason.
Yeah.
Like, his wife is like, I don't want you to get shot. I'm worried about your well-being. And he's like, how dare you care about my well-being? I am awesome, and everything I do is cool.
There are two things that... there are only two characters in that show that I actually dislike. Well, there's a few, actually, but there are two main characters that I dislike.
I just like his wife.
I was about to say that. I don't like Skyler, and I don't like Marie.
Is Marie the one that steals all the time?
Yeah, I fucking hate Marie. She's by far the most annoying character.
She is the one that steals all the time, right?
Yeah, she is the one who steals.
She is the one who steals. And, Jesse is my favorite character.
Oh, Jesse's my favorite character, too, dude. Jesse is by far the best character because he's the most human in the show.
Yeah, like, he's the only character that I honestly care about the entire time. Whenever I see Walter's wife, I'm just like, oh, man, I hope Walter's family gets killed or something. I hope that's a plot twist or something.
Well, one thing I also wanted to mention, I've seen the show through probably 4 times, and, with seeing it that many times, you realize different things about each character every time you watch it. For instance, the first time you're watching through it, you hate Gustavo Fring. You think he's the most evil thing ever. But then the second time you watch it, you sympathize with him, and you actually realize Walter's actually way worse than he is.
Walter just kills people that he doesn't need to constantly. Like, at the end of the show, his solution is just kill people, while in the beginning he couldn't even get himself ready to kill anybody. He couldn't emotionally kill anyone. But in the end of the series, he just kills anybody without even thinking about it. Like, he really kills people and regrets it because he didn't have to.
Yeah, and, like, definitely I do, like, disagree with a lot of the stuff Walter does, and you do kind of feel like he's turning into a villain towards the end. But I think at the ending, just before he dies, you feel sad that he dies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
something I think is so weird is this teacher named, she said that Jesse is still, she said that she didn't care about Jesse, and she thought it was stupid that Jesse had motives even though he was cooking meth, because people that cook meth shouldn't have any shouldn't have standards.
Well, by that logic, she shouldn't like Walter either.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Because Walter's...
Like, if you're willing to cook meth, why is killing kids wrong? I'm like, what?
But like
Clearly,
for me, I was gonna say, at the end, I feel like Walter kind of redeems himself a little bit in my eyes when he goes and saves Jesse, even though he sent him there to die in the first place. Because I'm not gonna lie, I actually teared up when he died.
I didn't cry ever watching Breaking Bad.
I think Breaking Bad is by far the best drama series I've ever seen.
I also think it's really good comedically because, like, the jokes are actually really subtle.
Yeah.
So, I like how in Breaking Bad, the Fly episode was definitely the funniest episode. But in the Fly episode, that episode didn't even need to exist. It didn't have any convenience to the plot. It didn't change anything at all. It was just there.
True, but it did give you a look at them inside Gus's lab, too.
Yeah. It made you... It was good for character development.
Alright. You know what? Speaking of character development, you know why Saul Goodman got his own spin-off, right?
Why?
Because he's considered the least hypocritical character in the show. He knows where he stands on things, and he doesn't make excuses. He just accepts when he's doing something wrong, and he doesn't judge other people for it. He's the least hypocritical character.
I think that his name really fits his character too, though. It's all good, man. Saul Goodman.
Oh yeah.
That's really fitting of his. If you call, like, he really is like the guy you call and solves your problems. Because you always knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah. Who knew this guy's cousin? But
I know this guy whose brother's sister's uncle has a friend who cooks meth, and that guy's brother works for the DEA, and that guy's sister is another. Like, it goes. I like him.
So the thing is, I feel like Saul Goodman, Better Call Saul does a really good job at making me like him even more.
Yeah.
How far are you along in Better Call Saul?
Oh, I'm on like episode 7 or something.
Okay, so if I say what I was gonna say, it's gonna be major spoilers. Are you okay with that, or do you want me to hold off on it?
You can spoil the show all you want.
Okay, so another thing I really like that Better Call Saul does is in Season 3, Gustavo Fring becomes a regular character in it, and they actually kind of make you sympathize with him. And the way he's built up is really well done. What's that?
I know Gustavo Fring's in the show because Netflix spoils it because they add him to the freaking cover of the series for some reason.
I think for me, the worst thing Walter did in the series was when he killed Mike. That really pissed me off.
Killed him for... He had, like, no good reason to get him killed.
Well, if you remember that, he even says, I just realized that Lydia has the names. I could have got them from her. I'm sorry this happened, Mike.
He kills her. He kills him for no reason at all. He also kills that nerd guy for... Well, he gets, Jesse to do it, but he gets that one nerd guy killed. He didn't do anything wrong. He was, like, the only good character. He was, like, the most genuinely nice person in the series.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you know, it was either him or them, you know what I mean? Alright, it's recording again.
Hallelujah.
So what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Better Call Saul.
I don't... The show that I haven't watched entirely.
The thing I like about Better Call Saul as well is they give you a lot of backstory to Mike as well, and I really like Mike as a character.
Well... I've only seen, like, a little bit of Mike so far.
Oh, he's like the second main character in Better Call Saul. At least later on.
And,
I do hate Saul's brother, though. Saul's brother's a fucking dick.
What did Saul's brother do?
You'll see.
I know that Saul's brother thinks he's allergic to electricity.
Oh, but he's an asshole, dude. As the series progresses, you'll see. I mean, I can spoil it if you want me to, but I can also leave it up there so you can be surprised.
I don't really care about spoilers. Spoilers don't bother me. I don't know.
So, like, the whole reason that Saul isn't able to advance in Hamlin, and McGill isn't because of Howard Hamlin. It's because his brother Chuck doesn't want him to get promoted, because he doesn't want him to be, like, a real lawyer in his eyes, because his brother used to be... Because, if you don't know, Saul used to be a criminal back in the day. Prior to becoming a lawyer.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay, but his brother Chuck wants to prevent him from getting a full lot. Like, he wants him to prevent... he doesn't want him to be like a big lawyer because he thinks that it would be a bad thing. And so, like, he's been sabotaging him at every turn. And then, as it progresses, he basically tells him he doesn't care about him, and eventually he does kill himself, which I was actually happy about because fuck Chuck, but...
I do not care about any of the... I don't care about either of Jesse's girlfriends.
I like Jane. Jane was nice. I liked her.
They weren't very developed, I don't think.
No, but I thought they were good characters, and they worked well as plot devices. I mean, they both died, and they both helped Jesse move along.
Yeah. In the end, Jesse's, like, free, but everybody he loves is dead.
Well, here's the worst part. Think about it. His fingerprints are probably all over that lab. When the cops show up, Jesse's probably fucked.
Oh. I didn't think about that. Oh, God. Also, how the heck did... I'm still confused as to how Walter had died. Because how the bullets were going straight. So he didn't get hit by a bullet, because you see him fall down, and while he's laying down, something hits him, which causes him to later die.
Have you ever seen the alternate ending?
What's happens in the alternate ending?
It links it back to Malcolm in the Middle.
What?
Here, let me send it to you real quick. If it's still on YouTube, because it keeps getting taken down. Okay, so the Say My Name clip isn't part of the alternate ending, but for some reason you always see it when people repost it. This isn't on YouTube, it's on Vimeo, but it's still there, so... Let me pause the recording, maybe, so you can see it, huh? I have started recording again, so... Yeah. But yeah, now you've seen the alternate ending, so... There you go.
It was an alternate ending, alright. I love Malcolm in the Middle, that's a great show.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was cool that the production staff decided to make that as a callback.
Yeah, but I'm glad it wasn't actually an ending to the show.
I don't think they ever actually intended to make it a real ending to the show. They just made it as a joke, you know?
Yeah. But if they actually did mean it to be an ending, that actually would have been hilarious.
Yeah, but it would have been a fuck you to the fans.
Yeah, but it would still been really funny. But, just like me watching the show, you get really hooked, and then all of a sudden you find out it was just a character from Malcolm in the Middle's dream.
So I had a similar problem happen to me when I was watching through this British comedy series called The British Empire. The ending to that is a total fuck you to me, and I watched all 7 seasons of it in both specials, and it really pissed me off how it ended.
How did it end?
So The British Empire is a show about this guy who runs a gym, and it's a really good show, and it actually has a lot of character development for a British comedy, which they usually don't have a ton of, you know? But as it's going on, like... It keeps going, and it's crazy, and it's fun, right? It's a fun series where this guy runs a gym. He's a total fucking, like... You know, he does everything by the book. He's a fucking total Nazi about it, right? At the end of the series, him and his, like, staff all get close to each other. And at the end of the show, this bomb goes off and supposedly, like, kills everyone, right? But then, at the end of the episode, or at the end of the final episode, the main character wakes up, and it turns out that the entire 7 seasons were a dream. And that he was still on his way to the job interview for the gym, so he never actually worked with any of those people. All of his staff were just people he saw on the train before he fell asleep.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, but it pissed me off, because it actually had a lot of character development, and I actually really liked the characters, and it was like a big fuck you at the end of it.
The only natural conclusion if you have cancer is to pretty much make meth, when you think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're gonna die soon. Might as well cook meth.
And if you get Ebola, you should sell crack.
Is that video gonna come out before this one?
I have no idea.
If this video does
Probably not, because I'm still making... I still gotta edit the other 2 that we've already done. And one of them is actually going to be out of order because I released the Halloween one already, and the Halloween one has Thrills and has Thrills in it, and Thrills was introduced in one of the other ones I haven't released yet.
But in Breaking Bad, what would you say is your favorite episode?
Probably the one where they kill Gus Fring.
I think it was really funny where he sees that he's ringing the bell over and over and over. He's like, wait, why are you ringing the bell? He looks down and he sees the bomb and he's like, oh.
Then he comes out, straightens his tie, and then falls apart.
And then Gus Fring wakes up, and then he's like, oh, it was a nightmare, and he looks over to his wife, And his wife was like, "What happened?" He's like, "Oh, I had a dream where I was this scary guy who worked at this chicken place, and I was blown up, and half my face was gone."
Yep, that should have been another alternate ending. That was exactly the same, but with Gus instead of fucking Walter.
Now, what would you say is better, Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad?
Oh, Breaking Bad by far.
Better Call Saul, I thought was funnier than Breaking Bad, though.
Oh, yes, I agree. It is funnier, but I think that the characters are more interesting in Breaking Bad.
But my favorite episode of Breaking Bad is definitely The Fly. I also think it's funny how you actually want to see the Fly dead by the end of it. Like, you're actually wanting to see them catch the Fly, which I think is hilarious.
So you want to know, so Breaking Bad doesn't have a lot of inconsistencies, right? You'd agree that it's fairly consistent, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of plot holes or anything.
Yeah.
There was one inconsistency I noticed my fourth time watching it.
Fourth time?
Fourth time.
You waste many 60 hours of your life.
Dude, I fucking love that show. It's my favorite drama. Anyway,
but,
so, if you remember, when Skyler first kicks Walter out of the house, she changes the locks on the door, right?
Yeah.
When Gus Fring is after Walter, he calls his neighbor to go and unlock it and check his stove, implying that, you know, she had that key from long, long ago. Well, if she changed the locks, how the hell does her key still work?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Granted, I came up with an explanation. When Walter forced himself back in, he forced them to change the locks back, maybe.
Well, Walter does do a lot of weird things.
So, I mean, that's my explanation, because whenever I come across a plot hole or inconsistency, I try to explain it, you know?
Mm-hmm. See, that's my problem with critics. They like, oh, there was too many plot holes in this and that. I was like, well, then think of your own reasoning behind it. That's what I freaking do. If something doesn't make sense to me, I think of why it could make sense. That's what why you gotta do that?
Yeah, I mean, like, for instance, when I talk about Red Dwarf all the time, that British comedy show, that show has so many fucking inconsistencies, it's ridiculous. But I have explanations for them. Some of them I don't, but other ones I do. Like, if you try to figure out...
In the Bible, like, where certain people think there's, like, an inconsistency, or there's something that doesn't make sense, they're just like, oh, well, he's magic. Which I guess does kind of work. I guess God can be a magical fellow.
Yeah, but the thing that makes it, I don't know, Breaking Bad, that was the only inconsistency I could find, and I came up with a fairly reasonable explanation, I think.
So, Walter sexually assaults his own wife, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that happens. Isn't that in, like, the third episode?
Yeah, I don't know, I don't remember what episode that is, but I think it's weird because she's like, dude, I'll have sex with you later, and he's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, he's, like, so unreasonable, he's just like...
To be fair, there's an episode of The Simpsons where...
He doesn't do it because he's attracted to her, he does it because he's attracted by himself, like, he's...
Oh, yeah.
Like, he wants, I don't know how to describe it, can you describe it better?
He gets turned on by the sense of power he has from doing what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm a smart boy.
But no, there's
See, I noticed things. Genius.
There's an episode of The Simpsons where Marge rapes Homer. That actually happened.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
How does that happen?
So there's an episode of The Simpsons called The Strong Arms of the Ma, where Marge gets like really buff. And, like, she gets, like, all, like, on steroids and shit, and she gets, like, roid rage and shit. And at one point, she's in bed with Homer trying to have sex with him. And he's like, no, not tonight. And she's like, I wasn't asking. And then she, like, rapes him. And, like, it's like, god damn!
Wait, what? Does this actually happen?
Yes, it does! Let me find a clip. Hold on. Yeah, I know. So now we are back at the recording, and Rabbit Waffles has now seen the clip in question where Marge Simpson rapes Homer, so now he knows.
It doesn't compute with the world of The Simpsons at all. Like, kids watch that freaking show. You don't expect something like that.
Well, imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine the backlash it would have got if it was Homer against Marge.
Well, I mean, that's different. White men are awful.
Shut the fuck up. I'm just saying it's hypocritical that something like that goes by relatively unscathed, whereas, you know, if the roles were reversed, it's like, you know, I think it was...
You could tell that Homer got hurt by it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't fucking get it.
Poor Homer.
In Breaking Bad, that scene isn't really played up for laughs.
No, but in The Simpsons,
it is.
Yeah, in The Simpsons, that is, for some reason.
Yeah. When Family Guy tries to do stuff like that, they get backlash for it, but Simpsons, no. I don't like any of the characters in Family Guy because they're always doing stuff like that to each other.
See, the thing is I wouldn't care so much if it was like something like, you know, that was already over the top and had a lot of that crap in it. But since The Simpsons is a show about a family you care about, it's a bit off, you know? Because I've seen all sorts of fucked up shit in, like, hentai and stuff, and it doesn't faze me at all. But in The Simpsons, that fucked me up a little, because I'm like, god damn.
And then Marge went on to cook meth and got cancer. And then when they were shaving her, they found the bunny ears. And then they hooked her up to a machine and they experimented on her. Yeah, she was originally supposed to have those bunny ears.
Yeah, from Matt Groening's comic Life in Hell.
Yeah, which was not a very good comic. I don't know why they wanted to bring that and Simpsons together.
I don't know. I've never read it.
I'm trying to think of. You didn't talk about the Jesse's two friends that he literally gets back on heroin after they recovered.
You mean meth?
Oh yeah, meth. That's what I meant. I'm an idiot.
He got his girlfriend back on heroin.
Yeah, he got his girlfriend back on heroin, but he got his friends back on meth.
Yeah, Badger and Skinny Pete.
Yeah, Badger, Skinny Pete. He's a horrible friend, I think about it.
Yeah, but like I said, Jesse I feel for, because he stays the most human out of any of the main characters, I feel, you know?
Yeah, obviously, he does do some bad things down the line, but I think it's just because of, like, everything he's been put through.
Shine this up real nice, jabroni. And I know just where to stick it, Rod.